W. Jeff Crawford, and this is Movie Day Scheduler. Basically, this was created for filmmakers to be able to update schedules or create schedules on the fly. It's an internet application. It has quite a bit of an ability to make things easier for creating schedules. It looks a little daunting at first, but then it eventually opens up and everything gets cool. The first thing you'll notice up here, production name. So we're just going to go ahead and type in Trust. And then as soon as you lose focus on that, it's going to update it down here in the actual printed area. Filming day would be the day that you're going to be filming. It could be day 1, it could be day 44, it could be day 129, depending on how many days you've been filming. And as soon as that loses focus, it updates down here as well. And if you came up here and let's say you wanted to add something else into the name of the movie that you forgot or whatever, then you lose focus, it'll automatically update down here. And then up here in the schedule date, you're going to go ahead and click that, and it's going to offer a drop-down box for most users. And then you're going to be able to select a date, and it's going to update down here in the printable area as well. The production times actually when you want to start and when you want to finish. This can always be modified at any time. We're just going to go ahead and select 12 noon. And we're going to go ahead and select 1700, which is 5 p.m. And then you'll notice it updates right over here. And then what you want to do is press on commit. And it's going to commit those hours right down here. A lot of people find this disruptive that it's up there because it kind of gets in their way or it becomes a tab stop or whatever. So we invented this, that you can vanish it. And the general info box is now out of the way. Okay, so the next step we're going to take a look at real quick is the scenes area. Basically this area here that allows you to import or add in your scene stuff. First thing you want to do is add the scene. So we're going to add scene 1. Just, you can add whatever scene it is specifically. And then you're going to select your time of day, which if you hover over most of these, they'll explain to you what they're about. And then we're going to go to location. And for location, we're just going to type in New York. And then for call-ins, we're just going to do Bob, Julie, and Alan. And of course you can tab through these if you want, which makes it a little bit easier. We're going to go to wardrobe day. Since it's scene 1, this is going to be wardrobe day 1. Now wardrobe day is basically just to be able to keep your actors in mind so that they know specifically what day of clothing they're supposed to be wearing. Now it takes a little bit of time to figure that out by going through the script, but once you do know it, then you can add it there, and it's definitely a huge bonus when it comes to doing this, especially if you're breaking up scenes like scene 14 and then scene 93. You can definitely tell them what days they're going to want to be wearing what day clothes. Props are just going to go ahead and write in handgun. Yeah, we'll go ahead and put in scissors too. Pages, I know specifically on schedules, a lot of the times they go by eighths. Technically, because it is a scheduler, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do it by half pages. The reason being is because you know that it takes about a page to do a minute worth of stuff, but in this case when it comes to scheduling, you know it's going to take a bit longer than just a minute. So what I did was I made it so that the further you went down, let's say this one's 4 pages long, the first scene, it's going to go ahead and expand that on your schedule for you. Now it's just a point of reference. If you think it can take less time or you think it's going to take more time, you can always adjust it, and I'll show you how to do that here shortly. And then of course you have your comments, and let's just say the handgun's going to be big. And then you just go down here where it says add to schedule, and voila. And of course, because it was 4 pages long, it went ahead and made it, so that it was extensive. Now, if you need a little bit more room, you would just expand it down so that it's more room. And if you need less room, you would go up here and put it in less room. Now you'll notice over here, now this does not print out, but this is an ID number. And the ID number basically keeps track of which ones were added at what time. That's more or less just for the program itself. This little tab does not print out at the end when you get to the end and you go to print it or put it on a PDF. Breaks are a funny little thing because they're different than adding scenes, and basically all you want to be able to do is, number one, tell how long the break's going to be, or hopefully be. As any filmmaker rightly knows, any amount of time you put down is not always going to be correct. It gives you an opportunity to change those however you want. But let's say we're going to go to breakfast. Now as soon as you check mark that, you are unable to select anything else up here, but you are able to add a comment. And the reason being is because you want to be able to put stuff like McDonald's. Okay, so we have McDonald's in there. Now all you have to do is, because it's breakfast, you're going to add to schedule. The scene comes before the breakfast. Now that's a faux pas. In any scheduling situation, you want to eat before you actually get started or in the middle of stuff. If you hover above any one of these, you'll see the move arrow comes up. Basically, you just left click on it and move it. The IDs stay the same, and I'll show you why that is in a second. You're able to put your breakfast before the scene that you're filming. We're going to go ahead and put dinner as being at Hardee's, the American diet, and then add to schedule. And of course here it says break, dinner, parties. And of course you can use the drop down. If you wanted to make it an hour long, you can make it an hour long. The other breaks that are actually here, you have a regular break, and we're just going to put that this is a smoking break. And we're going to add that to the schedule. Now it's a different color because it's not a food time. So we actually wanted to make it a different color. Okay, let's just say that's just a 15-minute break. So we're going to close that up to 15 minutes. And then up here to the teardown, which is the actual teardown or setup of equipment when you get someplace. Add that. Add to schedule. There it is. It's a different color. It tells you specifically what's going on. Another one that's very similar to teardown is transport. And you're going to add that to schedule, and it's the same color because they are very similar breaks. And then of course the good old-fashioned wrap, which is end of the day. And you just add that to the schedule. Boom, there it is. It's red, and it tells everybody, hey, this is the end of everything. If there's ever anything that needs to be added, just let me know. I'll put it in, especially if it's very frugal and gets right to the point, specifically for whatever reason that something needs to be added that isn't already here. You have all these specific things. Now we want to look at the edit and delete sections. The edit basically is just like saying, okay, I need to edit something because something screwed up. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit scene 1 because I put Alan in there, and doggone it, I'm not supposed to do that. So the first thing you want to do before you even do any of this is check for the ID. And on this right hand side is that ID. So it's ID 0. We know that. Go up to edit, and here's all of our stuff. Usually if it's not a break, it will come up as a scene, and it'll say scene 1, so we know what that is, especially for those longer schedules that could be created. And select that, and it propagates everything up here into every single one of these things. Now, all we want to do is we want to take out Alan's name, and that's it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to finish the edit. Now, here's the problem, okay? As soon as you finish the edit, it goes right to the end. The reason why it does that is because I haven't figured out a way to do it otherwise yet, which I'm working on that, so if you help me out, I will help you out. But if you remember specifically where it's supposed to go, you want to go ahead and put that up there, just travel it up, and voila, there you are. So let's go down here and let's say, okay, this BR transport, which is a break for transporting, move to the next location. Let's say we don't want that. Let's say we just want to get rid of that. So we're going to go up here to delete, we're going to select delete, and we're going to look for the ID number, which is right over here, ID 5. We're going to select that, and it's going to ask you, delete this, are you sure? Say okay, and boom, it's gone. And if you look up here and delete, ID 5 is gone. If you look in the edit side, ID 5 is gone. That's the easiest way to edit and to delete these items that are down here in your list. If you had to change your production time, let's say this is 12 noon and goes down to 5 p.m., but let's say that's not good. Let's say all of a sudden somebody says I can only be there at 9 a.m. Then you can go and reset that to 9 a.m. and then you can reset it to, let's say it's 2 o'clock. Then you can hit commit, and it automatically readjusts right there, and there you are. We want to go through these columns on the sides. Basically, the one, watch the tutorial, that's the one you probably clicked on watching this. The other one is to keep it from being a distraction, so it vanishes the top. The next one is probably the more important one when it comes to the whole scheduler itself. And the reason why it's important is because this is where you get your code from to actually be able to update your schedule later on or save it. But when you click this, you're going to notice that all of this information down here has compressed itself into this up here, which is like the database for the whole scheduler. So what you want to do is you want to copy, and then you would open up Notepad. You just copy, and then you paste it right in there. And then you can save it, and this is basically your whole schedule. And let's say this is a different day, and yes, when you go to reload the page, if you have stuff on here, it's going to ask you if you've already saved stuff for the most part. But let's say we're at a fresh schedule and we're like, oh, you know what, we got to put this stuff in there. You want to click on this same tab, hit this button right down here. It says add old code to import, and then you click in there, and you take the information from your Notepad and you paste it right back in there, and then you import. And as soon as you do, voila. But I did not make it so that the production name would go back in there, nor the filming day, nor the scheduled date. And there's a reason for that, because sometimes productions change names, change filming days, and change dates. And usually if you're bringing a schedule back in here, one of those things is probably changed. And if that's the case, this gives you an opportunity to update those things. Now, like I said, I could just easily make it so that all of them do get reincorporated, and I'll just wait and see what people think about that. So basically that's that tab right there for importing and exporting the code. The next tab down is a to-do list. It just basically says things that I'm working on or potentially working on, depending on what kind of reception I receive with the scheduler. And then the more important one is this one down here. And this is to send to print page. This, and the reason why a laptop or a desktop is perfect, because this can do two things. You can click it, and of course I'm using Google Chrome, so you'll notice that I get the interesting little window in the middle. Everything's here, everything's ready except for the production name, day and date, but that's because I reincorporated everything. And as you can see, the whole schedule is basically listed here. And since it's only from 12 noon to 5 p.m., it is one page only, and that's it. But the two things that you can do that are interesting is, number one, you can print it as a regular print job. Or number two, you can change that, especially in Chrome. I believe it's in Firefox this way, and I believe Internet Explorer has changed so that you can do this too. Especially if you have Adobe Reader, you can save as PDF, which is really huge because then you can send this out to anybody, anywhere, and it's a rather small file. Now you have a PDF of your schedule that's able to be sent to anybody via email and usually be able to be read on most mobile devices. A couple of things that I wanted to point out are these. One is the buy me a beer. Basically, you're going to buy me a beer. Now technically I don't drink, so you're not really buying me a beer. Basically what you're doing is you're shipping me $2. It's going to take you to PayPal if you click on that. It's going to give you an opportunity to send me $2, and that's pretty much that. The other thing is that when you go to print this, if you notice at the very top, in very lightly colored area, because I didn't want to waste a lot of ink, it basically tells you that this is free use under Creative Commons, and that's really kind of what this is. It's under the Creative Commons licensing. I don't want people to steal it. I don't want them to put it on their own site. I just want them to be cool, come to our site. Our site should always be available. Use it there. Do what you want to with it. If you have problems or you enjoy the thing, let me know. Email me. And basically it tells you about the buy the beer thing. Just in case somebody else sees it that didn't create the schedule or really wants to use the schedule or can use it and then realizes, hey man, I could send this guy $2 for being a dude. I hope you get a lot of good use out of it. If you do, I'm really happy. Like I said, it's completely free. I just hope that everybody gets good usage out of this and can create a lot of schedules and stuff for their future stuff. And if you have any updates, questions, comments, concerns, hey man, email me. My email address is very simple. It's jeff@pafilms.com. Okay, very cool. Well, I hope you have fun. Thanks.